Yeah, so we have only two core values for the company: making the perfect steak and having fun. So I always tell them first to try and taste meat very frequently. We always need to be very close to our target product, to the real thing, so we can aim for the highest quality possible, and we prepare them, and then we play with it first with the fingers, just to feel the properties of the material that we are trying to build, because there is a very strong element of material science in the meat, how the material behaves, how the fibers are glued together, how they slide, how they break down. So first we play with it, and we taste it, and we first of all people need to have the experience of what is meat eating.
Meet Danielle Dikovsky, Head of Innovation and Technology at Redefine Meet, your Innovate and Change the World founder. He has over a decade of experience in 3D printing, and he wants to share his knowledge and teach other people to innovate and change the world. Welcome to our series entitled the IAM Podcast, a podcast about innovation, business, and most importantly, people. In this series, we'll be talking to founders, executives, and various experts about their vision, challenges, best practices, and lessons learned throughout their journey. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Today, we are joined by the Head of Innovation and Technology at Redefine Meet, Danielle Dikovsky. Hello, Danielle.
Hi guys, very glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the IAM podcast. I'm excited for you to tell the world how revolutionary your product is. Please share with all of us your elevator pitch.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here and tell the people about the product that we are working on and the technology that we are developing. So our goal is to replace the animals as the factory for producing our meat. We actually use the animals as factories, so they convert the vegetables that they consume into a very protein-rich and healthy product called meat. But this process that we use today is very inefficient. It creates a lot of pollution, and there are so many problems associated with this, like the antibiotics usage, like the so many disease that we see that spread from the animal agriculture to humans. So we are coming with a solution, with a technological solution that will do the same. It will convert the vegetables into meat. And to do so, we first of all we need to understand what is meat and how it's made. So that's why we study the meat structure and the meat science to its depth, and then we actually create a plant-based ingredients that can replace the culinary function of the meat, and we create technology that can assemble these ingredients together to actually reverse engineer the very sophisticated structure of meat and deliver people the amazing eating experience that we have with meat, actually touching all our senses, the visual, the haptic sense, and of course the taste and flavor that we have in meat products.
Okay, I'm curious. Yes, you said meat is very sophisticated, it's intricate, the overall experience you want to give. So, how long is the research before you came up with the
Yeah, so our company was formed 3 years ago, and it's growing very fast. So today we are counting 100 employees already, and most of them are doing R&D, developing the food formulations, the industrial process and the machines that we are creating, developing the software, and developing the science behind it, so that we not only having the capabilities to produce the meat, but we also need to say which meat and which kinds of meat we need to produce and how to feed it best to our customers. So we need to understand the customers. We need to convert the meat into numbers, actually, because our process is digital. So we need to convert the meat, real meat, into numbers, and then convert these numbers into a plant-based meat.
Okay, please talk to us about your product.
Yeah, so our products are very different from everything that we have today in the market because, as you know, most of the meat analogs or alt meat products today are actually minced meat, burgers or sausages. But we are going to the next level, and our goal is creating a perfect steak, a beef steak, having all the fibrous structure that we have in a real meat, and having the fat and the juicy taste. So it's something that we meet in like tenderloin steaks or like premium cuts, and that's what we trying to do. We are trying to do the premium cuts and to do all of the cuts, so we can replace the whole cow and not only the part that is responsible for the minced meat.
Amazing. How are you using technology with your product?
Well, so first of all, as I mentioned, we need to we are studying the meat science.
Yeah.
One of our major advisors is Professor Perslow from the Bristol University that is now working in Argentina, and he is on our advisory board, and we talking to him frequently to understand the meat properties, to understand the muscle structure. The meat is actually an animal muscle, right? So it has a very sophisticated function in the body. It's there to move our body, to create emotion, and therefore it has a very a typical form, and therefore we are studying this form and how this form change between the different animals, between different feeds, between different cuts, and also within the cut. So like a New York steak, it is not the same meat in every place. There is some heterogeneity, so-called heterogeneity, which means different areas has different properties. So we can speak about a map of meat. So a steak you can think about it as a map having different characteristics in each point. So first of all, we study this, and then we study how you can get these properties from a plant-based protein. Okay, and it's only the culinary properties. We do not try to achieve obviously the anatomical properties. We do not need this meat to be functional like it was the muscle in the body. So we need to concentrate on what are the properties that we can easily mimic. So we aim for like hardness and chewiness and springiness and juiciness, and of course the different flavors like smoky flavor or a umami flavor. So we go for each one of them and we replicate them to recreate this whole eating experience.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay, please tell us why 3D printing is a perfect fit for solving the complex challenges of replacing animal meat.
Yes, right. So that's a very good question because I'm coming from the world of 3D printing. I worked for Stratasys for 11 years, developing the multi-material 3D printing technologies, and we all know how slow and expensive it may be, and it's one of the challenges of getting into many industries. It's the price. So how can it be that in meat we can use such an expensive technology for such a relatively accessible product? So the answer is that the 3D printing is actually a way to decompose the sophistication of the whole muscle meat. So instead using just one process to produce the whole meat structure, we can now actually decompose the meat into the components, into the protein fiber component and the fat component and the connective tissue component and the juice component, and we can deposit them separately, and we can recreate infinite number of different cuts. So it can be mass customized and to be adjusted per user request. So you can do any fat level, you can do any marbling, you can adjust the taste to be correct for a specific cut.
Okay.
And we have a few more reasons that we use 3D printing, but these are the major ones.
Okay. I'm curious. How was the first meat? The first version of your meat?
Well, it constantly develops, and so the first version was that we just created some mass resembling something similar to meat. It was very much like the burgers that we are familiar with. So it was just printed through a nozzle to create the strands that we see in the real meat. So it had just the form, but it didn't had the right texture because there was
Mm.
still no like real small fibers that we already experienced, but only like thick strands. It had a nice form. At the next step, we just put two materials like red material and white material to create something that creates a very appealing form and appearance. So visual appealing, but it had like a disaster taste. Yeah, it was just it was just plant protein, you know. The plant protein has almost no taste at all. It's like eating a sponge.
Oh, okay. And now it tastes, I mean, there's no difference between animal meat and that plant-based meat. How exciting. Okay. You've come a long way. Yes, you said you started 2018, right? So in a short period of time, please share with us the highlights or the milestones.
Yeah, so we did a very long way. We changed the place from where we started, and we have now amazing offices. And yesterday we did a very significant milestone in building our pilot plant. So we are building a whole plant here in Israel that will produce the ingredients for the meat production and the meat itself. And very soon we'll start moving all the machinery inside and actually around the production. So today we produce our materials in other plant that we rent in the meantime. But by the end of this year, we will have our own plant. So that's where we are now. And like 3 years ago, there was like three people in the lab. I wasn't there. I was only the employee number 14. I
Oh,
joined in the end of 2019. But in 2018, there was like three employees, very with a very simple 3D printer, and creating some very basic formulations and pushing them through a nozzle. Um, and trying to print the image structure. And one of the reasons that we grow so fast is that
yeah.
we have a lot of support, I think, from the community, from the world to what we are doing, both in terms of the budget that we raise for our work. We had very successful round A, and we have the privilege to bring great experts from the Israeli industry. The Israeli industry is very well developed, as you probably know, especially in the fields of digital printing, but also in the food tech sectors. And because our mission is so appealing to many, so it's relatively easy to bring the top professionals, and that's how we progress. It's just the people that we have, they are really creative, they are really amazing, and they are very engaged, and they create the difference.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, you mentioned about the fundraising. So, could you share a bit about your fundraising experience?
Well, I'm more on technological side and the innovation side of our business. So I cannot say much about this, but I can say that our investors are like a family. They're really amazing partners, and not only bringing us the money, but also uh, creating for us an amazing network of people and companies and institutions that all contribute to our progress.
Okay. Well, we are hearty eaters, like I am, and I think you allow binge eating, and without compromising, the taste, health, and of course, for the environment, sustainability, you said. So I think you should go global. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's definitely our desire and our direction of development. We started in Israel because it's our home, but also a lot because of the COVID. Our initial goal was going directly to Europe, but the COVID changed our plans because it's, as you know, it's now very difficult to travel. It's very difficult to develop businesses in other countries. So we decided to start here, and I think looking backward, it was a very smart decision anyway. So because the people here are so passionate about meat, and we have so much meat expertise in our culinary sector. We have the great chefs and meat distributors, and we gain a lot from collaborating so close with them and understanding what they really need. Our product is not aimed only at vegetarians or vegans. Our product is aimed, first of all, on meat eaters and on flexitarians. So we need to deliver the real meat experience. And the people that know this best are, of course, the culinary experts, the chefs who work with meat, and they are a part of the development team, and they are contributing a huge amount of expertise and progress to our work.
Okay, I'm thinking like when you bring it to Europe or to the other parts of the world, so different countries have different taste preferences. So, how do you plan to take your meat to the rest of the world?
Mm. Yeah, so our next stage will be going abroad, probably Europe first, and we are all already doing these plans. And of course, we need to adjust the products to every market specifically. So in the East, we have partners that are already that we already started to work with that will help us doing so. Um, I can tell you that when we first brought products of our competitors to see what's the taste, so some of them were just horrible, and it's not that they were horrible as themselves, but they was just created for other countries. So that's how we understood that they can be such a big difference. So people from Europe that brought this product told us, no, it's a great product, people love it, but here in Israel, it had very strange taste. So we are aware of the need to adjust our products, and we are doing a lot of work and developing the sensory methods for doing so, because the converting the meat experience or how successful or unsuccessful a product is into numbers is a very difficult task. How can you rate a food product? Okay, so there are many methods developed for this. There is a whole sensory science trying to address this problem. So we have in sensory experts. We are developing our own methods. We create sensory panels. Today, most of the sensory analysis is being done in-house. Actually, all of our employees are being trained to be professional tasters, and we taste our products almost every day, and we collect a lot of data and we learn a lot. But of course, in order to go abroad, we will need to reestablish all these procedures in other countries.
Okay. So, as the head of innovation and technology, what is the greatest challenge for you?
Well, the greatest challenge is, first of all, to have a great team. I want people to have fun so they can be really creative, because the creativity, you cannot tame creativity. You can inspire creativity. So you need to create the right environment in which people can really be open, thinking out of the box, and how to make them to be engaged in the thinking, in the creative process. the potential is infinite. We are developing a totally new product with a very with I mean the 3D printed technology it's an existing technology, but being used for food is very novel. So there are some niche products that were created over the years, but there is no like mainstream food 3D printing technology developed so far.
Yeah.
So there is a huge potential for innovation, and our goal is to identify the major points which are critical to to make a successful product, and to go there, to invest there. So in our company we have two organizations that are doing research. One is the R&D that is developing the current product, and the other is my team who are doing a lot more long-term research. So we need to dare to go far and investigate places that are today maybe do not contribute to the current product, but will be game changers for the next generation of products. That's another challenge. And the last challenge, I think, is creating the right network, worldwide network of expertise, because you always need to be a team player, not only within your own organization, but on a worldwide arena, because most of the expertise is located out of our company, and it's our goal to achieve it. And I think that there's a lot of understanding that this collaboration is important, not only for business goals, but also for our personal goals of having a better and cleaner planet. So it's something that impacts our all lives, and we see more and more people getting engaged, also from industry and the academy. We are doing a lot of collaborations, funding some collaborations to drive this change.
I like that. Like, dare to go far, explore places that are not yet explored. And of course, for the environment, you know. Okay. So, do you have a crazy story that happened ever since you joined Redefine Meat?
Well, yeah, I mean, I need to think of what was the most crazy one. Um, but some stories about trying new processes that created some horrible testing experience. And sometimes you're getting to a tasting panel, and you just you need to provide some feedback. And it can be a very unpleasant situation. But also many stories of getting very surprisingly good results of putting some new ingredients inside, and getting something that's completely disrupting and taking the whole R&D process to a completely different direction.
What's the most horrible taste? Is it like the sponge taste of the meat, or is there any other?
No, the sponge test is pretty neutral. I think that the smoky flavors can be sometimes remind you like a tire.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, a burnt tire taste, and it's something, if you just put too much of it, you just get to crazy places. And the same for some sulfur ingredients that meat has some very slight sulfury taste, or for we speak with people who develop egg products, alt egg products. So egg, it has some sulfury taste, but if you put too much of this, it can be a really not very pleasant experience.
Wow, I'm really excited. I hope it comes here to Asia. Okay. Well, as a fast-growing company, what is the most valuable investment for you?
Well, of course, the first investment that we always seek for is in people, right? So
It's people.
our people, they make the difference, and the most valuable for us to get the right people on board. So we have really the industry leaders in creating systems like we do. in creating food formulations and building a large system for scale up our operations manager. He made the Sabra hummus in the US. It's the biggest hummus factory in the world. Okay,
Okay.
so we really bring people who know how to build, go big, how to build a flexible and efficient organizations and systems, and that's our most important investment.
Is there anything you tell your people every day? Like the core value. What's the core value of Redefine Meat?
Yeah, so we have only two core values for the company: making a perfect steak and having fun.
Wow.
Okay, that's our two core values. So I always tell them first to try and taste meat very frequently. We always need to be very close to our target product, to the real thing. So we are trying to do like a small tasting panel every week. We are not eating like big amounts of meat; it's just small pieces of meat that we buy in some grocery store or some good butchery shop, so we can aim for the highest quality possible, and we prepare them, and then we play with it first with the fingers just to feel the properties of the material that we are trying to build, because there is a very strong element of material science in the meat, how the material behaves, how the fibers are glued together, how they slide, how they break down. So first we play with it, and we taste it, and we first of all people need to have the experience of what is meat eating, and then they need to go and balance between the playing on one hand for being curious and trying new stuff, and being focused, because without being focused you will play forever, but then you play a little bit, you find some interesting directions, and then you go and in very systematic research methods you go for your goal, for creating for something that works on small scale and then on large scale, and something that you can use for your product.
Okay. Well, and well, time flies very fast. So, for all
Mm.
the viewers, entrepreneurs, well, people who are into technology, what are the important lessons that you have learned yourself or your startup journey?
Yeah, so I can tell that first of all, you need to listen to your heart and to see what's the change that you want to make in the world. Okay, because that's the major driver that you have in the work that you do in the everyday. And then trying to find is there somebody else that is already doing it and you can join him, or you should maybe start it yourself, start the journey yourself. And if you really believe in it and you really want to make this happen, your passion will go to other people, and you will definitely find think alikers, people that will join your team and bring the capabilities that you obviously will miss, and then just put them all together and continue tell the story, think far, think big, go to details, but also always remember how to zoom out, to see the big picture, to get back to your dream, and to make everybody engaged with your goals.
I always hear that from you, like think big, okay, right? Go far,
Right.
okay. Please complete this I am statement. I am Danielle, your blank, like, what do you want to be known for?
I want to be known for delivering my knowledge to others. I want to teach other people to do the innovation that I do. I think that I'm doing this for many years already, and I have a lot of capacity in this. So aside of doing my current work, I really love teaching other people to use their passion to innovate and change the world.
Wow. So it's like, Daniel, you're 3D guy. Printing guy. Okay. Thank you very much and all the best to Redefine Meet.
Thank you so much, Mary, and thank you all for the IAM podcast, and have a great day.
This podcast is powered by IAMOps.io. Optimize your cloud infrastructure and CI/CD process with IAMOps.io dedicated DevOps team. Check out www.iamops.io and get a DevOps team now. Make sure to check out www.iamops.io if you want to know more about us. Subscribe to our podcast so you can get notified every time we post a new video. Thank you, and you have a great day.